Hello, this is CrazyMan7777 here with another strategy guide for Tier 5 Soviet tanks. I have the T-34, the KB-1, and the Su-85. So, the Tier 5 Soviet tanks do surprise me a little bit, and they do also not surprise me in other ways. And we'll get started on that right away here. So first up is the T-34. The T-34 does, in fact, which is surprising to me, actually have armor that can, and angles that can, deflect some bullets. The only problem with the T-34 is that things below its tier and above its tier and in its tier will be able to kill it pretty easily. And you must only use this as a sniping tank. I'm not using it like that though because I want to make sure that this video is nice and short. So basically what you want to do with the T-34 is that you can either do a kind of light tank rush strategy, which is pretty good with it, although sometimes you will die rather instantly, which I do, or you can stay back and snipe, which is pretty good since the T-34 does actually have pretty good penetration and a pretty good millimeter. So you'll do about 100 or and over damage every time you shoot. But like you will see here, it does not. Your fun really does not last nearly as long as you'd think. Also, as you saw right there, ramming does work, but you will get trapped and you will die. Next is the Su-85. The Su-85 is around the same as the T-34. It can deflect shots, but there are certain places on the front where it will not deflect shots. This one has 122 millimeters, so the Su-85 will do some damage, although its reload speed is a little bit slow than the T-34. It does go about the same speed, or just a little bit under. And this is obviously a TD, so you want to stay back and snipe. That is going to be your best strategy. The thing about the Su-85 is that the only place that you'll deflect shots from is the front. Unlike the T-34, you will deflect some side shots, but not all of them. But with the Su-85, if you get tracked, you're dead, which is kind of disappointing and something I did expect from these tanks. Also, the actual sniping itself does not really work very well with the Su-85 because the millimeter does not have the 122 millimeters does not have very good accuracy, especially on the Su-85, and also the penetration could be better. I would say the KB-1 has the highest penetration out of all these tanks. So the Su-85 is kind of bad at sniping and kind of bad at actually confronting the enemy. Although if you play your cards right, you will be able to destroy people pretty easily. I suggest only going against one enemy at once, although you will see here that even though I'm only trying to fight one person, I still get screwed over. Basically, you want to play these tanks like light tanks that you don't want to die in. You want to snipe from really far away and maybe spot some people, but that's only small chance that that'll work with these tanks. But as you can see, they will deflect some shots. But if you get tracked, then you're just gonna be screwed. Or if you get in the engine. Another thing to note is that in these tanks, when you get hit in the engine or get hit in the tracks, when they're repaired, you will go about half the speed that you went before, which is a big loss. So you're gonna want to take with you some packages. Now here is the best of the lot. arguably, which is the KV-1. The KV-1 does have great armor, and but you always have to keep it angled, otherwise you will get destroyed, because when you're going front on, then you will be able to be penetrated from the front. But if you have any kind of angle at all, you will deflect pretty much all shots, even from maybe higher tiers, which is awesome. But the 122 millimeters that the thing has is pretty good, and it can do up to 200 damage, which I haven't gotten yet, but it does work pretty well. And the speed is not that bad; it's about the same as the other two tanks. But this one is even worse than the other two tanks. If you get tracked and then you are repaired, which will happen a lot, or if you get hit by artillery and your engine gets damaged or something like that, you will go very, very slow, like AT2 Matilda kind of speed, which really sucks, and hopefully you don't get tracked. That's the one thing that these tanks do lack, as well as the fact that you are probably going to be the biggest target on the field, so you want to stay near to buildings and things like that. Also, you probably want to stay pretty far away from your enemies, because the KV-1, like I said, if there's a head-on battle, you will lose, because the fact that your armor without an angle will not deflect any sort of fire, even from tiers that are lower than you, which kind of sucks. The penetration of the 122 millimeters is pretty good, just like the other two tanks, but not that great. As you see, I am missing and hitting wrong places pretty easily with this gun. The one thing that is always going to be with Soviet tanks is that you will always not have very good accuracy or penetration. That's probably the two things that these tanks lack. They do have better penetration than I thought, and they do have better armor than I thought, and my impression is that they're good but not great. They're kind of average. And I'll see you guys next time.